Okay, so Jack and Wasp here, and I mainly want to do this video to really, I guess, as a general discussion about the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, to really kind of go over the state of things and what we can expect so far. So honestly, I'm gonna start out by saying this: I am more of an Xbox fan in general than I am of PlayStation. It doesn't mean I can't stand anything PlayStation related. I just prefer to play on my Xbox One. There is no denying that the PlayStation does have great exclusive and has generally won as far as the games department. Xbox has been trying to close the gap by buying studios and making exclusives, but making games takes time. Meanwhile, they have taken a more consumer-friendly approach, making the Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, pushing for crossplay, and even now releasing their games on Steam. To be fair though, as far as the Game Pass, there is the PlayStation Now. You can get it on the PlayStation 4 and as well as the PC. Streaming may not be ideal, but there are a ton of games on there, and I mean a ton. It's also gotten better since it first released. You can download certain games, and play them that way. The main thing the Xbox has over it is that they have stated that all of their first-party Xbox games will launch on the Game Pass. I mean, that's a huge plus. That, and Sony hasn't really advertised the PlayStation Now service as much as far as I can tell anyways. Moving on to the next generation, it is interesting to see more of a shift between the two. Microsoft and Xbox Series X has pretty much screen power. They want it to be the most powerful console on the market. Sony, on the other hand, has been more focused on the experience, making more powerful console than the PS4, but more of an emphasis on the features, smaller things that can make the overall experience better, such as the loading times and whatnot. Microsoft and Xbox have been really trying to play catch up with the games and systems, while Sony seems to be going okay. We have the exclusive games now. How can we really improve on what we already have? All that being said, Sony still hasn't really unveiled the PlayStation 5 for what it would really look like at all, and all of its features. They have talked about the details of the hardware and unveiled the controller, and that's really about it. Meanwhile, Microsoft has been more transparent with the specs and some of the features of the Series X and its controller. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go over all the specs of each console and compare them and all that, and unfortunately, while it does interest me, I don't know anywhere near enough to kind of go over all of that, and we also don't really know what everything that either of them can do, and like I stated earlier, or what the PlayStation 5 even looks like. We do, however, have the controllers, and I would like to kind of talk about them for a second. The Series X controller largely remains the same as the Xbox One. They did add a share button to the controller itself, and it also seems to be a little bit smaller. There's also a little tiny dots on the triggers and the bumpers to add more of a textured feel to them. The D-pad has changed to add more of a hybrid. Hopefully that won't really mess people up too much, but we'll have to kind of wait and see on that one. Now, the PlayStation 5 controller has had a general design change, and you know what? I actually kind of like it. I think it looks pretty cool. It's named the DualSense. They made it white with kind of a black accents on the bottom and the triggers, and kind of the triggers on the back of it, sorry. The light bar is now on the side of the touchpad, and the buttons are clear. The share button is now called the create button, and we still don't really know what that entails, but they did say that it will have some changes from the previous one. There's also a mic built into the controller now as well, and I'm not really sure how I really feel about that. On one hand, it's good that you don't really have to have a headset. On the other hand, it can be annoying when you have people will have too much background noise going on. There would be a mute button, but that doesn't mean people will use it or even care for that matter. Both controllers will use a haptic feedback, but we'll have to wait and see how the developers will actually kind of use that. Overall, I do like both controllers. The Xbox One has been my favorite, so keeping the design the same is really perfectly fine for me. And the DualSense does seem kind of interesting as well. I like how they changed the look, and hopefully it will work out for them. In terms of exclusives, PS4 definitely wins out. For a while there, they've had back-to-back hits, and it didn't seem like they'd be really slowing down at all. Spider-Man was a good one for me, even if I didn't like it quite as much as others seem to have. But Persona 5 is really hands down one of my favorite RPGs. I haven't actually played anything like Last of Us or God of War, but I mean, just looking up the reviews, and they kind of speak for themselves. The tricky part about the Xbox is that most of their exclusives are also on the PC. They do have Forza, Gears, and Halo, but most of them are on the PC with the exception of Halo 5. I don't think Microsoft is too worried about that, having, completely too much exclusives, considering they do have kind of a strong PC presence. They have been getting more developers to make games for them, but so far they've also been releasing on the PC. The plus side is some of them do have a cross save and cross buy to them. That way you can really play either of them on the PC or the Xbox without actually losing any progress. When it comes to third-party games, it really depends on the developer and the publisher. You have games like Persona 5 that I mentioned earlier, but then you have No Man's Sky, and there's a reason why I have Nier Automata playing in the background while doing this. Both of them started out on the PlayStation 4, but also on the PC. Then eventually they did come out on the Xbox One as well. Square Enix, for example, has released some of their older Final Fantasies on the Xbox One, then even brought over the entire Kingdom Hearts series. Granted, it depends on the title, you might have to wait a while, but some exclusives may not remain that way, and that includes Xbox exclusives as well. If I were to pick a winner for next gen, it would be us gamers. No matter which system you go with, they're both making strides and changes to have the overall experience better. I, for one, am looking forward to seeing what they can do and the games that do come out on each one of them. But let's face it, we're all here just to have fun. Alright, but that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I just mainly wanted to start a nice discussion for once between the two, so let me know what you think down in the comments below, what you may expect for the Xbox, the Series X, or the PlayStation 5, which one you may be looking forward to. And I hope everybody has a blessed day and a blessed evening, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.